You get bored with small talk. You're at a party, holding a drink, trapped in a circle of strangers. Someone says, "So, how about this traffic?" And suddenly, the entire group lights up like it's the most fascinating idea in the world. Heads nod, fake laughs, endless stories about stoplights and bad drivers. Meanwhile, you're staring at the ice cubes in your cup, wondering if anyone here has ever had a single original thought. For most people, small talk is harmless filler, a way to connect without risk. But for highly intelligent people, it's a nightmare. Your brain isn't satisfied with shallow chatter. It wants puzzles, ideas, stories, even arguments, anything with weight. Instead, you're stuck in a loop about the weather, the time, or what someone ate for lunch. Psychologists call this a high need for cognition, a hunger for deep and effortful thought. And when that need isn't met, you start to drift, zoning out while everyone else bonds over nothing. To them, you look rude or antisocial. But in reality, your mind is starving. Because for someone wired to think deeper, silence is more meaningful than another conversation about how, "Wow, can you believe it's already Friday?" You're careful with your words. Most people talk like they're throwing darts in the dark, quick, sloppy, and hoping something sticks. But you? Every sentence feels like a chess move. You pause, rewind, edit in real time, searching for the exact word that won't be misread or misunderstood. In conversation, that makes you seem cautious, even slow. But in your head, you're running a quality control factory. Words go through drafting, testing, and approval before they ever leave your mouth. For highly intelligent people, this isn't just a quirk, it's survival. You know language shapes perception. A careless phrase can ruin an idea, or worse, a relationship. So you weigh every syllable like it's gold. Psychologists call this linguistic precision, the tendency of smarter minds to treat words as tools, not just noise. But here's the downside. While you're sculpting the perfect sentence, everyone else has already moved on. To them, you sound hesitant, maybe even detached. They fill silence with chatter, you fill it with calculations. And when you finally speak, it lands like a scalpel instead of a splash. Careful, exact, but just a little too late for the party. You are socially awkward. It's not that you don't know what to say, it's that your brain is juggling so many thoughts, it forgets to play by the rules. Eye contact, timing, tone, they all glitch when you're too busy analyzing the conversation instead of just living in it. Imagine someone asks, "How's it going?" And instead of a quick, "Good," you pause, overthink, and deliver a 3-minute monologue about your entire week. Or worse, you bring up some obscure fact no one asked for, and the room goes silent. For highly intelligent people, socializing can feel like acting in a play where everyone else got the script, and you didn't. Psychologists say this comes from divergent thinking, the brain's tendency to chase unusual connections. It makes you brilliant with ideas, but clumsy with people. To others, your timing seems off, your humor too niche, your energy a little strange. And while they walk away thinking you're awkward, you walk away replaying the entire moment in your head like a movie, and you wish you could edit it. You struggle to make good friends. Most people treat friendship like fast food. Grab whoever's nearby, call it a bond, and move on. They talk about sports, share a few memes, maybe drink together on the weekends, and that's enough. But for highly intelligent people, it isn't. You don't want something quick and disposable. You want something that lasts. Shallow conversations feel like empty calories. Fake smiles feel like a wet blanket. And being surrounded by people who don't really get you only makes the loneliness louder. So you filter. You hold back. You wait for the rare connection that actually sparks. Researchers who study personality patterns have noticed that smarter people often prefer fewer, deeper friendships, and they're willing to go long stretches without company rather than fill the silence with the wrong crowd. The downside? From the outside, it looks like you're antisocial or picky, but really, you're protecting your energy, because for a mind like yours, one genuine friend means more than 100 acquaintances. And honestly, sitting alone feels less lonely than sitting in a group where nobody's really saying anything. You don't get out much. For most people, a packed weekend means energy. Crowded bars, noisy restaurants, house parties that stretch until sunrise. But for you, that's not energy, it's exhaustion. Crowds drain you. Constant chatter feels like you're going crazy in your head. So instead of running toward the noise, you retreat into quiet spaces where you can actually think. It's not that you dislike people. It's that being around too many at once feels like your brain is stuck with 100 open tabs, all flashing for attention. Over time, you learn that solitude isn't just comfort, it's fuel. Still, from the outside, it doesn't look that way. To everyone else, you're the person who always says no, the friend who disappears, the one who never shows up. They mistake your recharge for rejection. The irony is that you might be thinking about them, caring about them, even planning for them, but you can only do that once you've stepped away. Alone time isn't avoidance, it's maintenance, and without it, your mind burns out. You're overly analytical. Most people can pick a pair of shoes in 2 minutes. You're stuck comparing prices, durability, online reviews, and whether they'll still match your wardrobe 5 years from now. For highly intelligent people, nothing is simple. Your brain refuses to settle for good enough. It's always weighing possibilities, chasing the perfect answer. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis, when overthinking turns a simple choice into a marathon. On the bright side, you avoid mistakes most people make. On the dark side, you waste hours trying to make decisions that should take seconds. Friends say you're indecisive, but that's not true. You decide plenty. You just decide slowly, carefully, and with more angles than anyone asked for. And the irony? After all that overthinking, you sometimes end up picking the same thing you would have chosen in the first place. Your mind constantly craves exercise. Most people finish work, flop on the couch, and let their brains go blank. But you can't stand it. When your mind isn't chewing on something, a book, a puzzle, a documentary, even some bizarre Wikipedia rabbit hole, you feel restless. It's like your brain starts pacing in a cage, tapping the bars, demanding something to work on. One night you're solving a crossword until sunrise. The next, you're watching lectures on a topic you'll never use, just because your mind needs the calories. Friends tell you to relax or just watch a show. But for you, mindless entertainment feels like wasting away. Studies have found that smarter people often seek out what's called cognitive stimulation. Basically, tasks that keep the brain lifting heavy instead of coasting. That's why you end up juggling hobbies, side projects, and late-night thought spirals while everyone else is half asleep. It's not about productivity. It's your survival. Because for your brain, rest doesn't mean shutting off. Rest means finding something new to conquer. You're always feeling pressured to succeed. For some people, success is a bonus. If they win, great. If not, life rolls on. But for you, it's different. The moment people notice you're smart, the weight lands. Teachers expect flawless grades. Parents talk about big futures. Friends assume you'll figure out every problem. And worst of all, you expect it from yourself. Every decision feels loaded, because failure doesn't just mean failure. It feels like proof you wasted potential. It's what researchers sometimes call achievement pressure. On the outside, you look driven, ambitious, unstoppable. But inside, it feels like running a race with no finish line. You ace a test, but the next one's harder. You land a promotion, and suddenly the bar rises again. Success doesn't relax you. It only resets the pressure higher. People think intelligence makes life easier, but sometimes it just makes the mountain taller. Because no matter how far you climb, the top keeps moving. You're overly self-critical. Highly intelligent people have a secret curse. You see every flaw in yourself, even the ones nobody else notices. Most people shrug off mistakes. They forget the wrong word they use, the awkward comment they made, the project that wasn't perfect. But you replay it. You pick it apart. You catalog it like evidence in a trial. It's not arrogance. It's the opposite. Your brain notices details so sharply that you can't stop turning them against yourself. Psychologists sometimes call this perfectionistic thinking, the tendency to hold yourself to impossible standards. You finish an essay and think it could have been better. You give a presentation and only remember the one word you stumbled on. And when people praise you, instead of feeling proud, you wonder if they just didn't notice the mistakes. The irony is, Being self-critical makes you better, sharper, more careful. But it also means you're never really satisfied. You're chasing an image of yourself that doesn't exist. You get lost in your own thoughts. Most people can switch their brains off. They daydream for a minute, then snap back to reality. But for you, drifting into thought isn't a break, it's a black hole. One moment you're staring at your coffee, and the next you've built an entire theory about time travel, the future of humanity, or why pigeons exist in every city on Earth. Hours slip away without you even noticing. Teachers used to call it not paying attention. Friends say you're spaced out. But inside your head, there's a whole universe unfolding. Researchers call this mind wandering, and in highly intelligent people it tends to go into overdrive. It's creativity, problem-solving, and curiosity colliding all at once. The downside? The outside world keeps moving while you're lost in another one. You miss instructions, forget appointments, and walk into rooms not knowing why you're there. From the outside, it looks like distraction, but really it's the cost of a mind that refuses to stay in one place. You over-explain everything. Ask most people for directions, and they'll point left or right. Ask you, and they get a full TED Talk. You can't just give an answer. You give the history, the reasoning, and 3 alternative possibilities. Your brain refuses to hand over surface-level information when there's a deeper layer waiting underneath. On one hand, it makes you thorough. On the other, it makes people's eyes glaze over while you're halfway through explaining the why behind the what. Communication experts sometimes call this the curse of knowledge, when you know too much to keep it simple. To you, details are clarity. To everyone else, they're overload. And when you finally stop talking, the person who asked probably doesn't even remember the original question. The irony is that your explanation is usually correct, but the delivery drowns it in so much extra context that people mistake intelligence for confusion. You question authority more than most. For many people, authority is comforting. If the boss says it, if the teacher writes it, if the rulebook lists it, then it must be right. But for highly intelligent people, blind trust doesn't come easy. You question orders, test assumptions, and sometimes get labeled as difficult because you won't just nod along. It's not rebellion for its own sake, it's instinct. You see flaws, loopholes, and contradictions others miss, and your mind refuses to leave them alone. Studies on critical thinking have shown that smarter people are more likely to challenge authority when something doesn't add up. But this gift comes with social friction. Teachers think you're argumentative. Bosses think you're insubordinate. Friends think you're cynical. All because you'd rather chase truth than follow the script. The worst part? The people who roll their eyes at your questioning often end up relying on you later, once they realize the rules weren't perfect after all. You struggle to enjoy the present. Most people can live in the moment. They enjoy a meal without worrying about tomorrow, or laugh at a joke without dissecting it. But for you, the present is slippery. Your brain is always running ahead, calculating the next step, or circling back, analyzing what already happened. You're sitting at dinner, but you're replaying a conversation from last week. You're on vacation, but you're planning what to do when you get home. Instead of savoring now, you're trapped in before and after. This is sometimes called future-oriented thinking, the ability to imagine outcomes and plan ahead. It's a strength, but it steals the moment right in front of you. People tell you to just relax, or be in the now. But to a mind wired like yours, that's almost impossible. Because while everyone else is living in real time, you're busy living in 2 timelines at once. The one that already happened, and the one that hasn't even started yet.